All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Casey. Thanks for joining us again. And this is the fourth meeting that we are having for the Saturday discussion. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. I am very excited to start today discussion as we are promised to continuing our discussion last week. And just a quick recap before we jump into it, we were discussing ancient wisdom toward the very end, and we barely was able to touch on any of it. But for me, to me, when I learned about ancient wisdom and the axial age, I found it fascinating that there were so many great thinkers from different region of the world, and it's appear, or well, at least it's appeared to me that everyone was kind of talked about the same things. And I am very excited to discuss more. This is a discussion, and I just really love the opportunity to openly discuss what we think, our perspective on it. And I am so thankful that I have Casey with us today because Casey have a great interest in Eastern culture, and namely, he often talk of Lao Tzu, which is one of my, I guess, well, I have been learning about Lao Tzu and Confucius teaching ever since I was little because it was greatly influenced on the Vietnamese culture. And I was born and raised in Vietnam, but I wasn't aware of Lao Tzu until I studied him in happiness study, the MA in happiness studies program. So I am, even though I know what the teaching is about because it was engraved into my culture, but I wasn't aware of all of his work in the Tao Te Ching. So let's start with that. And Casey, I would love to learn more about Lao Tzu from you. Can you share what is your favorite quote, for example, what draw you into the teaching and the Tao Te Ching from Lao Tzu, and what do you think the connection between ancient wisdom with the teaching and many other teachings from the great thinkers of the past? All right. Casey, you are still on mute. Let me see if I can get you to unmute. There, there you go.
I got it. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Ben, for inviting me back. I've sure enjoyed being in your room with you guys. And in fact, last week, gosh, long, and I ended up we for about another hour after your call and about just being where we were and also being interested in finding other practices and ancient wisdom. So specifically for me, Lao Tzu, and what I love to say is that when I had read it once in college, the Tao Te Ching, and when I came into Tall studies, I picked up a copy again, and the copy that I use for everyone is by Derek Lin. The translation is Derek Lin, Lin, and he was born in San Francisco to two Chinese parents, and so he was born in a Mandarin speaking household, but he just has such a grasp on both languages, and I had read where he had the best translation, and excuse me, excuse me, and so and then Wayne Dyer in another one of his studies, gosh, sorry, I have something's in the air. I'm making me sneeze. Anyway, Wayne Dyer mentioned another book other than the Tao Te Ching that was called The Unknown Teachings of Lao Tzu. Well, actually, the name is Wahoo Ching. So it's Hua, eight Wahoo, Hughing. And is my audio okay for you, Ben?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you just fine. Earlier, it was breaking up just a little bit, but it's fine now.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to turn off my video to see if that helps. I, I I'm turning off my video to see if that's better.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
so from cover to cover, I've only read two books on Taoism. So the Tao Te Ching, of course, which is the standard, and then this other book, the Wahoo Ching, which is written by a guy named Brian Walker, is the American uh, um, student of theologies, Eastern philosophies. And he wrote that book, and it's called The Unknown Teachings. That's where I found the four cardinal principles that I recite every morning as part of my daily rituals. But it's reverence for all living beings is one. Two, authenticity. This is a matter of listening to your inner voice to align with your divine purpose. And the third is showing up with gentle kindness. It's being humble in the world, and then four, service to all. The two overriding the number one metaphor of Taoism is that water. And the beautiful thing of water is it's humble. It takes the lowest path. It doesn't have to be high and stand above all else, but it takes the humble low path. It doesn't need to get into arguments with things. It doesn't need to be right. And that's the soft part of water. But the strength of water comes from the fact that it can carve the boulders in the river. And so to be humble like water and to be strong like water is a beautiful metaphor. And then there's the Wu Wei, which is WU, second word WEI. And that is the non striving, it's being actively engaged in life without attachment to the outcome. And that is Wu Wei. Is my audio okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, and I'm so glad that you mentioned water because in Eastern culture we hear that a lot, and I have heard a lot of different perspective and interpretation of the Tao Te Ching, the teaching. But for me personally, when I read that, I felt like Lao Tzu is talking about something more, right? Like the way of the universe, how we should live our life. And somehow, when I heard of the expression of water, instantly I think of how in life, water pretty much like when Lao Tzu talked about water, I felt like he was talking about the way of living, the way that human as human living in this world should be. And I noticed how all people try to move up, right? They want to get to the next high, get to like the top of the mountain, for the example, getting to the the what should I call it? Like the beginning of the stream as water streaming down from the top. But I feel like
Source.
we should, yeah,
Yeah.
from source. Yeah, they try to get back to source, and I feel like everyone wants to get to that mountaintop, but source is not where the mountaintop is. Source is just what you mentioned, is gotta flow downstream and be one with the ocean, and then thanks to science, we know that the entire cycle of how water evaporated and then it's returned back to the mountaintop and the cycle continue. But I think the point here is not about resist the flow. It is about being one with water, which exists in everything here on earth, even within our own body as as human. There's a large percentage of water in our own body. So I think there is more to the teaching than simply just the way of the water. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Well, I think, so that which cannot be named is the Tao. The Tao cannot be named is part of the teachings. and then but also in Taoism is the concepts of yin and yang. And so yin being the soft uh, uh, feminine energy of life and the creation, and then the yang being the masculine man and the force. And to me, the water is the unity of yin and yang because it does both. And it represents the singularity and the duality of existence. So and that it's also a reminder, like you say, in the circle of life, it's also that the water comes from seemingly nowhere. It comes from the heavens. We've figured it out now, but anyway, I do love to. I am a water person, and I think of water as being source of life all the time.
Mhm. All right. Well, there's so much to talk about when it's come
And
to
our
ancient
bodies consist of almost
wisdom.
70% water. The earth is about 70% water. Uh, and then we touched last week on I can't remember the Japanese doctor's name, but his early studies in cymatics with the resonance of proving that water is an organism in a sense that responds. It's a living entity of some sort, sentient of some sort, and it responds with unique crystalline patterns, just like snowflakes. But they resonate with music and beautiful words. And if you put pollution and negative words in with water, the atomic structure is weakened, and you get ugly crystalline structures. It's really fascinating.
I see the chat that Philip said that it was Dr. Emoto, Masters of Water.
Emotos. Yes. Thank
Yes,
you, Felice. Yes.
yes. And somehow I thought it was the memories of water. That word hit me because I
Yes.
read somewhere that, the very same water that running through our vein in our blood is someone make the statement. They say that that very same water it had run to the entire earth itself, and it was one in the body of our ancestor, and it's go beyond that. So when the
Yeah.
word like the memory of water mentioned to me, it hit really hard because I felt like, oh, what if what if water hold memories uh in the entire time that it's traveled across the earth, across the universe, and here we are, having these water element within the majority of our body. I see Victoria and Chilling raise her hand, but I just want to hear Casey's thought on this very quickly. Then I will call on you.
Oh, yeah, yes. And well, I'll tell you where it goes to from here. So when you're saying that, Ben, and thinking of the water, so now think of the people like in the third week of October, I'm doing a full week retreat with Joe Dispenza, and he's one of these thought leaders who's changing the belief system of, like, he's a person that healed his own. He had 5 broken vertebrae, and he healed them through positive thinking, and really re-engineering his body mentally. And so if our thoughts create our health, could create the law of attraction, all these different side niches of what positive thinking can do for us. Think about that. In if we're 68-70% water, and we're walking around thinking negative thoughts, what happened to me today and why didn't this go better? If that water responds to an etched gratitude or joy or love on a glass bottle, what is the water in our veins, in our going through our circulation system? It only stands to reason. I don't think it's a huge leap of faith. It's not science yet, but I'm like I say, I am like, I want to be on the edge of pushing these thoughts to tell the scientists, look, let's go, prove this, because I know it's true. There's a gnosis, GNOSIS. There's our belief is a knowing when you asked me in the chat earlier, we're just remembering that lines up with ancient wisdom. Absolutely. It just feels like it's the first time we're having these experiences because we haven't channeled that connection between our incarnations, if you will. So anyway, I'd love to hear from Victoria and Chilin, and I hope that opens up some more fun conversation.
I love this discussion so much. I can talk about this for 10 days straight, yeah. But we will have more opportunity. Let's go to Victoria very quickly. Victoria, feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello, Ben. Hello, Casey. Hello, Shelly. Hello, Jasmine and everyone. I'm so happy to join you today as well. So talking about water, I also love this element a lot. And just as Casey mentioned, I'm also a water person because not only water occupy a majority of the composition of this earth, but also in terms of our body constitution. And then what I love about water, because it represents one of the very important of our human element, which is emotion. Because whenever I think about water remind me of not the mental state, but specifically is our emotional state. And that is, I'm thinking our mind is in terms of a river that constantly flowing. And as somebody said that we cannot bath or no one can bath in the same river, but the same river every time. It shows the changing nature of everything, and it talks about the law of impermanence. So whenever we think about water, it reminds us a lot of everything. And as Lao Tzu just mentioned very clearly, because water it seems to be very soft, it can represent our yin element in the Chinese philosophy. But for me, water is both in and out because it's not only soft, but it can turn into ice, and it's the most resistant thing because if we put the water into the stone, like if we watch how the soft water running through or over the surface of the stone, it makes the stone become thinner and thinner. So it means that it can overcome anything, and it can change its shape. It can turn into ice. It become air, steam. So for me, water is something that is key and very fundamental, especially whenever I think about it. I think about my emotional state. I think about human emotions. And it is not necessary in terms of physical existence, but there's a lot meaning, there's a lot spiritual meaning and deeper meaning into what water is. Like for example, when we at the lowest level, we can feel that we thirsty, but at the same level, when we talk about I'm thirsty, when we are thirsty in a literal meaning, but in a multi-reality meaning, it's also there's some imbalance in our emotional state. So when our emotion is balanced, it means that our water element in our body, not only as a rose level, I'm talking here in rose level, meaning that what is constitute our body. But at the deep level, at our emotional state, there's something is imbalance that cause us some emotional problems. So this is what come down to the element that water is very important because it is something that from water everything else come out, and it's not all in terms of physical meaning, but in terms of spiritual meaning. There's a lot. I don't know how to express because my language is still limited, but I hope that we can feel something that deeply connected with the element water, and that is emotional state, and that has something to do deeply with our emotional well-being and spiritual well-being as well, and that is can be expressed through the water element. I try to learn deeper and deepen my experience, so next time I can share in a more clear way. Thank you. I'm excited to hear Chillin's sharing. Thank you.
Yes, Victoria. Well, before we go to chilling, I feel like you making a great connection with the point that I was making earlier of how the water, is share is existing in all of Earth and even the universe itself. And there was a research study done on, or I heard, I can't confirm this, but there was a research study done on monkey that I was told of how the scientist was making observation of monkey and they keeping it like sweet potato, but instead of keeping them the clean one, they just throw it on the sand and the monkey, even though there was some sand on the sweet potato, they love it so much that they eat it anyway. Until one day, that this one monkey figured out how to wash the 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 sweet potato, clean up sand, and they was able to enjoy it better. And then that one monkey showed it to other in that one island, and then all of the monkey know how to wash the sweet potato before they can eat it. But the strange thing is that after they make that observation from this one island, they start to notice that the monkey from other island was able to wash the sweet potato full of sand when introduced to, even though they haven't had the experience of learning how to how to uh, how to wash the sweet potato. Like they didn't have the experience like the original one. Yeah. I found a similar experience when I first used a smartphone, right? Back in 2005, 2006, when touchscreen smartphone first came out, and I was so proud to get my hands on it. And it was a new thing, it was a new experience. And then later, after the iPhone came out, and I make my observation of younger children, they use it like it's second nature to them. They didn't even need anyone to teach them how to use it. So the point that I'm trying to make is that there's the connection, the collective conscious connection of things in this universe, and us as humans, somehow we have that shared knowledge and connecting that to water, right? Because we has been talking about the memory of water and how water has been flowing through the earth itself to the body of our ancestor, and then here it is existing within our own body. If we can make that connection with the teaching of the Tao Te Ching, my theory, even though it sounds like so not science, my theory is that, what if we had this one connection, collective connection to wisdom, to knowledge, to intellectual well-being, and we have this deep desire of connecting to this knowledge. And this is the entire premises of my curiosity, my question that I was having with Casey from the discussion of last week and the week before. And I'm so glad that we started now this conversation today, discussion on this, so that we had more time to go in even deeper. But I think that's good enough for now. Let's go to Chile. Feel free to unmute yourself, Chile.
Hi Ben, and hi Casey and Victoria and everyone in the room and Jasmine. Yeah, and I'm glad.
You on mute, Chile. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Oh, sorry. Hi everyone, to Casey and Ben and Victoria and Jasmine and everyone in the rooms at least. It's great to hear about like water, talking about water because I love that metaphor, especially myself. And it's my like my when I was feeling like a miserable or sad, I usually use some proverb about water relates to remind me that okay, it's the it's a process of I'm like going with the flow, so it's I'm not like staying in the resistant status. So I need to change, and there's a if I want to share with influence, this is also my process of learning, and also the process of showing the others. This is one of the option that we can have when we are feeling or like facing the difficulties. And when I've heard Casey and Ben's sharing about the water in the beginning, it also reminds me of the besides the tenderness, besides the flow or the non-resistance of the water, it also tells me about. It also reminds me of the strength, the power that it can cause or it can gather, such as like in the waterfall, like we are standing on the base of the waterfall, and the height can help with the how to say that there's energy like falling, the water falling from the height and to the low, and it kind of hurts you on the shoulder, and it's a great for massage. Yeah. So when the water can cooperate or like embed it with other elements such as wind, and then we will see as typhoon that is recently like being a chaos in Asia. And some of the strengths can be constructive, and some of the strengths can be destructive. Yeah. So that is part of the thing that also reminds me when you're discussing is how we use these strengths in wisdom. And the other part that Ben shared about the blood in our vein that is also contained with water, and we are living with in the history at the same time, because our body, our DNA is could be like a how to say that, uh, it's like a revolution in different era. And so actually this body is not like 100 years old. It's like the DNA is from more than 100 years old. We are living in the history, and at the same time we are making the history when we are living. So thank you, Ben, for sharing that, because I've I'm passionate and interested about the healing trauma with the ancestors, and that's also a process for reminding me that I am having my mom's part and my father's part with me. So if the healing process I cannot help my parents or probably help my ancestor to, I didn't have the how to say, the time machine to go back and being with them, and probably from me healing by myself and also working with myself, that is already a process that we can start to do those healings. Yeah, that thank you for everyone's listen. Yeah.
Thank you. And I can relate so much to what you share. And please allow me to share this one very personal experience of mine. I was like I was born and raised a very proud kid, right? I take pride in being a good person, and I was like I live a good life and I will never do anything bad. And I thought that I was good until I reached the concept of the many lives that we have lived and the history of human in the past and what our ancestor has been through. And I realized the truth is that, I think there was a uh, there was a quote saying that 90% of human history, it's probably more than that, but let's just say that 90% of the entirety of human history was at war, right? We constantly at war. Even right now, we have the war between Russia and forgot the name of the country, and then we have Israel and Gaza. So war always happened, and the history of the human was just so bad. There was so many bad things happen, and there was only a small portion of of peace and kindness and happiness. So when I had that realization, I had the understanding of, well, I I get it now. Why does the Bible say that we are all sinners? And and from there, I have a realization that it was such a blessing that uh, that we don't remember anything when we was born, or we get a, or in another word, we have an opportunity to start brand new in in this life, and we get to experience life and focus on the good things again, as I had. But more importantly, we have the opportunity to just focusing on the good and the positive. And I think that is what I try to do, and I feel like that is what everybody desire to to live their life. And and I don't know why, but when I listen to you, I just I feel like I really wanted to share that. And in happiness study, we got to learn about focusing on the good thing, like positive psychology. And instead of focusing on the problem, let's focusing on what is working, and cultivate that goodness, that's kindness, and we will be uh, we will be happier. So I think, I guess, an advice or sharing that I had to you, chilling, is that instead of focusing on the problem, instead of focusing on the bad thing, let's just focus on the good things, and eventually everything will work out beautifully. And Casey, please help me follow up on this, because I feel like I'm just mumbling now. But thank you for the opportunity to share my thought real quick with on what Chilling was sharing. All right. Casey, you are on mute, by the way. I don't know if you are still here.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm typing in the box. Yeah, I just think of how sad it is that it's so easy to point out that you know all these wars are caused by national interest, dogmatic religious beliefs, and I'll say outdated dogmatic religious beliefs, which leads to fear of other, and greed. It's really, ultimately it's because of greed. And so I always think of two of Gandhi's uh, most famous quotes, be the change you want to see in the world. And that there's, we're fighting over these scarce resources, supposedly, but there really is enough for everyone's needs, but just not enough for all the greed. It's a small percentage of people, and I am a capitalist. It's like, it's not like I'm one of these people that says, "Oh, we should be doing communism." Well, any form of human organization that gives absolute power to a small group of people, you know, the old expression is, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so, to have a very small percentage of people who make the decision for thousands and thousands of others to go lay their lives on the line for what? Oil, territory, etc. It's kind of maddening to me, and I really want to get beyond that. But I am I'm a practicing bringer of light and love, and I'm trying to create a butterfly effect of my own. My humble role in the happiness revolution, as Tal has charged us with, is I'm not going to out scream somebody. I'm just going to be one of these people that gets involved with a bunch of other like-minded, like-hearted souls that keep doing more and more positive things, and helping more and more people in need. And as we do that, and more people do that, and we stop allowing our minds to be controlled by dogmatic beliefs, and you know, because it's pretty obvious, at least in America now, that this two-party system, there are people that are doing things, number one, because it's the best thing for the Democratic Party, or number two, it's the best thing for the Republican Party. And then it goes through that filter first before is it good for everybody? When it should be reversed, what's the best for all involved? That should be the number one filter for how decisions are made. But hopefully that added to the conversation.
Yes, thank you, Casey. And I see Victoria raise her hand, but I want to mention this really quickly, just so hopefully we can have time to get into that topic. And just a quick reminder, today we are discussing the intellectual principle, and we started out with ancient wisdom, but trust me, all of this gonna tie back to the teaching that Tao shared in his lecture. And I feel like part of the technique and all of the research study that we got to learn, it was all point toward the the way to connect to wisdom, connect to knowledge. And I feel like it is important that we know the source, the roots of the knowledge and of wisdom. And the one thing that I want to mention is that I see Phyllis here, Phyllis Nguyen, and he last time he was mentioning about the pyramid, and and I'm interested in the pyramid too. And I think there's a lot of information there that people don't discuss. But since Phyllis mentioned it last week, I just want to call him out, you know, so later when possible he can join us and let's discuss a little bit more about that, you know, ancient wisdom, ancient Egypt, and how that knowledge has been lost, and maybe it's not lost forever. Maybe it was still here. There may be some still some sign, some connection that we can connect to those knowledge, because it's, to me, it is the beyond ancient wisdom, right? Beyond the axial age, and I would love to learn from everyone when it's come to ancient Egypt and beyond the ancient wisdoms. But let's go to Victoria for now. Feel free to unmute yourself, Victoria.
Thank you, Ben. Just very quick comment about Chia-Ling's concern about water strength that can cause harmful things, or things like just what is happening sadly in Asia now, and that seriously affected Vietnam a lot. So my heart melts when I'm hearing about that. But I think we need, since we engage in deep learning and we talk about the second intellectual principle, so we need to develop some kind of wisdom here as well. So the thing is, it's true that water, when we talk about water, is very strong, and it creates a lot of force, and it can be like typhoon, like flood. But not only water has this kind of thing. I'm thinking of the wildfire that happening recently in California that kills a lot, that struck a lot of things, especially the trees and forests. And then we have earthquake, we have tornado. So all these elements have caused different things. So, and I think that being aware of that, we shouldn't like remember to focus our attention on something that is positive, because the purpose is I don't think that there's one thing that is only good or only harmful. What matters is where we want to focus our attention on, whether we want to focus on the positivity of the thing, or we want to focus on something that creates some effect that make us more fearful or scary, or feel discouraged. So I think that is the power of our mind and the power of our intellectual well-being, to be able to drive or steer our emotion in the ways that make us happy and produce beneficial results, not only for ourselves, but for others. So the thing is, that's why I still thinking that water is very, very very excellent element because it's combined those two things, both the weakness and the strength, both all the contradiction that projected by our dualistic mind, whether it's good or bad, whether it's yin or yang. But in water, if we have the holistic mindset, then we can see both things, everything which is combined in the element of water. That's why I come back to my original point. That is, it has a deep spiritual meaning in water. So the thing is, so as we making progress on our intellectual well-being, then we can use this intellectual element as deep learning to dig deeper into what is the best we can make use of the water or the ancient wisdom of the science of technology and so on. So that is my my small comment to resonate with Ben's reminder, very important reminder of our focus and of our attention. Always focus on something positive and positivity, positive psychology like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. And guess combining Victoria sharing and chilling question, I feel like we we are on a mission. I feel like we are on a mission to live a good and positive life. And my observation is that I feel like we are here to learn, and uh, each of us is at a different point in our life, but we are all going toward the same direction. And this is why I love the expression fellow journeyer that I often mention a lot, because we are all fellow journeyer and we are learning together. And by learning, by experience, by cultivating intellectual well-being, we become more wholesome. And these conversation like this, I feel like it is so important. And I see Chilling raise her hand again, but I want to share this to you too, Chilling, very quickly. Continuing what I shared with Chilling earlier about the opportunity to start again, right? The opportunity to focusing on the good thing, the blessing of forgetting many terrible things that us ourselves or our ancestors that had done in the past, the memory that might have engraved in our DNA or in the water in our body. I think it is a blessing to for forgive and forget. And to me, right, the fact that we were able to forget many things in our life is is the equivalent that we have been forgiven or we forgive ourselves so that we're able to forget all of the terrible thing, all of the terrible experience. So instead of trying to solve or to heal things that has already been solved, that has already been healed, that has already been forgiven, we should really focusing on cultivating positivity and goodness in our life. And that is the teaching that I have found from many great thinker of the world. So let's go to Chilling real quick, and then of course I would love to hear Phil from Phyllis after Chilling.
Thank you, Ben, for the sharing. Yes, as you mentioned that even there are like heart traumas in the back or in the history. Now is our moment. I can choose to see if I still want to repeat the same thing. There is still opportunity, so I can still like going with the same thing, and I can also choose the other ones. Or it just depends on how this person want to be and would like to change how the future is. Yeah, so I do echo what you were thinking. And when we are when we are talking about all this, it also reminds me of an old history that one of a friend, it's not a friend, it's actually my student, is it's in a university, art university student. And that is a set story that I do like encounter is well, in Taiwan there's it's we have very, how to say that, very colorful religion environment. I mean that's, there are many kinds of religion that is in Taiwan. So besides Christian and Catholic, and there's also Buddhism, and there's Tao, and there's a lot of like a sort of things like Tao or like Buddhism, but they're probably not. Yeah, so I guess they're like it's not only in Taiwan. Could be like in everywhere. They have something called cult. Yeah, and one of my student was in there, and I've noted she's a very brilliant artist, and I just feel sad for knowing she's like deeply inside with the cult, and it's never gonna be it's, I shouldn't say never, but for the moment she totally believe in that. So that is also the one of the reason I it triggers me, or in, how to say that, or give me the motivation to pursue for something that is how can I evaluate what I'm thinking or what I'm believing is what is cult and what is not, because we use our belief to, like, I believe in science. If I blindly believe in science, it's gonna be trouble. If I blindly believe in certain things that I think I am right, that's gonna be trouble. So it's back to like my remind me of the balance. But at the same time, I do feel that if the environment has more people have that kind of concept, she might able to talk to the others, and those are the probably one of the thoughts or one of the option that she might be able to encounter, and give her some opportunity or give her some reference that besides choosing how to believe, could I or could we still be observed and aware of what I'm believing. So this is something that is why I start like looking for the things, and also looking for any tools that is could be more. It's not like I am, what I'm doing is right. No, I'm also learning. So I'm like finding the tools and share with people, so there will be less people, or there will be some people have more information and they can reference by themselves. So it's not only my student, and later on we are friend. She is in cult, and later on I met a friend who is as a mother, and her daughter was in cult. They was unable to disattach from that. So she's well, I see her how miserable she is, and I can do relate to how the sorrow in her. Yeah. So, and yeah, when we were talking about it, it just remind me of this, and that's why I'm pursuing all this learning. Yeah, on this way. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Chilling. And I would like to invite Casey to respond to that, and then we'll go to Fearless after. You still on mute, Casey?
Yeah, yes, I am. Sorry. I won't pretend that cults are an area of expertise for me, but what I can tell you is that the hair on the back of my neck stands up when you get into any group that poses itself as a spiritual entity, yet they deny you personal freedoms, and they separate members from their families, and they deny them access to society. They don't say, here's things that we believe, and now take them back out into general society. They say, stay in this little cloister and give us everything you own, and they take away a lot of your freedoms. To me, anything that mandates that you can only, that this is the way and the only way. You know, I think even great teachers who follow a strict, specific, let's just say a Tibetan Buddhist path, you know, they will say this is our way, but they won't say it's the only way. Like certain devout Christian groups, Islamic groups, can be very fundamentalist, which is, first of all, a very stark belief system that has very little flexibility, little tolerance for outside thinking. To me, personal freedom and religious freedoms are one and the same. You should have both, which gives you intellectual freedom to have a discussion about what your beliefs are. And I love going out on that plank, ramp, whatever you want to say. I love going out on a limb to discuss interesting topics and potentialities. And then, but for now, we have to rely on science to confirm certain things. But I'm also, as long as, you know, it's not going to hurt anybody else in this world if I think that by eating better, exercising more, sleeping, right now, all those things are scientifically proven. But if I believe that I understand my physiology well enough that I can talk to my circulatory system to stop tingling in my feet, to retard nerve damage, then, and I believe that I can heal myself that way, and maybe I do make progress, there's nothing wrong with that type of thinking. If my belief system says I'm Charlie Manson and I need to go to this Hollywood Hills home and kill these celebrities, that's a cult. There's a problem there. So anyway, I don't know if I added anything to the cult thing, but it's just when people lose their ability to have an intellectual debate and discussion about different perceptions or possibilities, you know, they're falling into a trap, whether it's merely dogmatic or it goes to that pathological stage of cultism.
Wow. Thank you for words of wisdom, Casey. And your sharing remind me a lot of what my brother used to told me. He told me that we have to be in control of our own destiny. You know, it is our life, it is our own destiny. We shouldn't allow other to have full influence on what we do with our life. And I think there's a lot of wisdom to that, you know, the inner wisdom. And this is pretty much the main discussion that we are having today on intellectual well-being. It is a me search experience. We are going inside to cultivate intellectual well-being, and we connect that to our spiritual well-being. And many great thinkers, many great teachers of the world tell us that we can find the answer from within, and we shouldn't have to rely on outside forces. But that is a topic for another time, and I actually want to go to feel it and hear what he had to share. So we only have about 35 minutes left, and I really want to get to that where is it, pyramid things. Yeah, I feel it.
Okay, hi everyone. So this is the second time I joined this discussion. Last week I joined the first one without a proper introduction. So just quickly introduce about myself. I'm Felix Nguyen from Vietnam. I'm currently in the second cohort of the happiness study program. So I came to this discussion and listening to all of you just now. I just want to add this metaphor, I would say like a philosophy of Buddhism regarding water. So take it a little bit further. So just like a water of the oceans, the ocean is the ocean is the source, and then we have small waves, we have big waves, we have a tsunami. Sometimes we have a very peaceful surface of the ocean, but sometimes we have like very beautiful curly waves of the oceans. So the ocean is sources, waves is stands for our lifetime, our what can I say, our life. So these philosophies of Buddhist stating our life currently is a result of many lifetimes that end up we are here at this very moment, in this present moment. So this philosophy just want to enlarge our perspective regarding life and universe. So I think this philosophy is very powerful, and we can talk for many days regarding this philosophy. But in this discussion, specifically, I just want to state the fact, to state the truth about interconnectedness of all things, and there is a force driven behind everything. And to my understanding and from my tradition is the law of cause and effect, causing everything happening within us and without us, like in the outside environment at this very moment. So how that related to the topic of our discussion today is deep learning. So I remember Dr. Tao used to say in one of his webinar, the spiral theory of knowledge and also the spiral theory of evolutions and also spiral theory of learning. So we gotta learn one thing, like, and we gotta repeat that with the spiral upwards. It's not and also Dr. Tao is voting for like learning selected few things and then dive deeper into one of the teachings or one of the insight or one of the wisdoms to really see it outside the world and how to apply it within ourselves. So deep learning here for me, it would be contemplation, observation, comparison, and also practice, and see the outcome of a theory or of a teaching, and then make sense of it to ourselves and make sense of it to the people around us. So to me, that is deep learning. And regarding my experience, I used to study from a lot of traditions and a lot of sources, and then compare and contrast. But later on, just for me personally, maybe it's a part of my evolution. I came to a wall, so like to the knowledge and the wisdom are like a forest outside. Like the Buddha once said, what I taught you guys, it's just a handful of leaves, but there are plenty and thousands and limited lists lives out there in the forest. So we ourselves, like for me personally, we need to collect a few very important things and then really deep learning that and see and apply. Otherwise, we will get lost in like negativity, because this is very chaos right now in the world. So we can spend like endless hour talking about the problems of the world, the problems of our society, the problems of our nations, and the problems of people around us. And it's gonna last for very long. So I would rather choose to dive deeper into the inner world, and then make it flourish, make it expand. And then in my tradition, in my belief, Buddhist belief system, we're going to encounter the circumstances or the chances to shine, to prove our, not to prove, to contribute, to offer our worthiness to life. So, for example, a person might be a cleaner on the street. He's going to have a chances to show mercy, to show compassion, tolerance, as well as the doctor on stage. He would be able to have a chance to influence. So there are many people from all walks of life, and it is life. So we each hold a pieces of the puzzles, and we just need to do what we best at, and then control ourselves, and then live up to ourselves, and then we can be a small change that contribute to a big change through the butterfly effect, through the monkey effect Ben mentioned just now, and from there indirectly affect the world. Because, for example, if I am not a politician, I would not be able to influence so much on the policies of the nation, but I can be a speaker who speak about the truth, who tell people, who promote what is good for humanity, and then people can follow. Or as well as a doctor can go and heal someone and teach them to stay away from the bad thinkings, from the bad thoughts that contributing to the problem of the health on the body. So I know these topics are huge, and we can spend hours to talk about, but I just want to elaborate the essence, and also I want to share my thoughts on that and my personal experience on that. So for me right now, I'm still doing my job, being good at my job, but also I chose. So there is these differences. So negativity, positivity, we can see these two through Dr. Emoto experience with our water molecule. But in some of his experiment, he also experiment with the sacred water, like the holy water in the church, or the water of praying monks for the sickness. And so the molecule structure is far more sophisticated, and the patterns are very beautiful and very sophisticated. So from my understanding, this point out there is not just negativity and positivity, but exactly like in Buddhism, in the Buddha teach, there is a middle path, like far go beyond positive and negative, far beyond duality. And I also I use a temporary name for that is a sacred state of mind. So a state of mind that you maintain the middle path, that you are not negative, but you are not positive too much. Because even positive too much, for example, if you are in a party with your friends and you talking, you like you burn in the party, and afterwards you will feel very tired. Your energy field will be torn apart, and you will experience a drop in vibration as well. So even positive over like the emotion getting over too much, then it would cause an imbalance in your energy field as well. So I vouch for and I promote the state, like moving beyond that, and that state is similar to meditative state that help enhance your clarity, your creativity, your peacefulness, your contemplation skill, observation skill. And the world is in need of that, because that state is that state of mind is has the vibration a frequency far more higher than these two. Even though positive is very good, I'm not saying that positive is not good, but we need to move beyond that to emanate a stronger field of energy of electrical and magnetic field sending out to the earth, and then be there and be the change, like even silently, or even when you encounter the person in it in your life, you be that example, and you share that energy and that love and compassion and that clarity, that mindfulness state to the world. So I'm just so that is my saying on this discussion, and I'm happy to expand the discussion with all of you guys. Thank you for listening to me. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Philip. That is a lot of wisdom, and I understand the expression be the change you want to see in the world in a whole nother level because you are talking about vibration and influence the vibration of the earth. And I would like to give Casey an opportunity to respond to what Philip shared, and then we go to Victoria.
Okay. Oh yes, Felix. I love the middle way. It helped inform me to. I had my historical path has been extremes, as one of extremes, and what we learn, what Tal teaches us, Dr. Ben Shahar, is about positivity, apply to positive psychology, is that in the roller coaster of life, we are given the tools that help us stay more on the middle path. And it's all related. So in Stoicism, it's called temperance. In Hinduism, what is it? Maranaism. In Taoism, it's the way. Christianity, moderation. Those are just the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But it's just so true that it's just so obvious that that's the healthiest path, that it can't be in extremes. You can intellectually absorb and witness the extremes, like Tal teaches us. There's no bad emotions, there's only bad reactions. So in you're the perfect example, Felix. It's like my impression of a Buddhist monk, which I have not spent a lot of time around Buddhist monks, but is just the calm, the depth of the water. There's another water analogy there, that still waters run deep is the expression, but it's like there's a lot going on there, but it's all so well maintained and constrained and handled to be more effective in society. So thank you for your share.
Beautiful. And let's go to Victoria real quick, and then we will circle back here because I feeling Victoria sharing is responding to this topic as well. So let's hear her real quick.
Thanks, Ben. I'm so excited because I would like to make just three small comments. The first one is about self-doubt, because I love Chialin's asking questions. She's excellent in terms of make us think and ask a very critical and important question. The question she asks is, okay, doubt, because what should I believe in? Whether we believe in cult, in religion, in science, in my mother's teaching, or my just in what I'm doing, or no belief in at all. So this come back to our spiritual well-being, to ask question, deeply question, who am I and why I'm here. So and this come back to the curiosity, and this is the first intellectual principle, because I'm always curious, and I guess that everyone, every human curiosity is one of the human trait and nature. So starting asking question is very important, especially in terms of our belief, because our belief shape who we are. So we need to start asking our belief, whether our belief is true or not, or what should I believe in someone else, in my teacher, in scientific research, in evidence, or in my mother teaching or my tradition. So this one we need, just Ben mentioned, we need me search. We of course we need research, we need evidence, we need everything. But what is important is contemplation. Just like Felix Nguyễn shared, that if we want to engage in deep learning, we have to start our self-query journey, asking who I really am and why I'm here. So I think this, and Shialin already started the debate, and then I think we got the point here. So that is the first thing. The second point I would like to share is about middle way, because I love Felix analogy and sharing about the analogy metaphor of ocean. It's just like ocean. Life is that. It's just like our ocean is immense. And then we starting first at looking at the ocean. And then we start, maybe we just, one day we just start swimming in the ocean, and one day we will dive into it, and one day we will become the ocean itself. So talking about middle way is like one of the very important teaching of Buddha, and especially the Nagarjuna, because I enjoy studying Buddhism, and I consider myself as Buddhist as well, because I deeply believe and like the middle way. The middle way, what is it? Because we have the dualistic thinking. We also make distinction between good and bad. This one is good, that one is bad. And this is positive, and that is negative. And that is the right way, and that is a wrong way. But in truth, life is not like that. The ocean carry everything in itself, whether a very evil big fish, a shark, and there's a small creature and beautiful creature. Everything is inside the ocean. The ocean is a perfect mirror of life. So if we adopt the middle way, which is not taking too much on left or on right, but stay centered ourselves, then we can move up, elevate our mind, and see the whole picture of life, so that we don't get grasped and be controlled by whether it's extreme existent or extreme non-existent, or whether it's positive or negative. Just like Phyllis mentioned, that okay, we need to go beyond our dualistic mind, whether it's good or bad, positive or negative. But as a starting point, of course, we should focus more on positive, because life has too much suffering and negativity already. So that's how, if we want to spread positivity and good thing, positive here doesn't mean that something, oh, I'm happy all the time. No, that doesn't mean that. And Tan is very clear about this. It doesn't mean that I want to be excited all the time, or I have positive feeling all the time. No, positivity is in deeper sense. It embraces the middle way of thinking that okay, I can embrace and accept all kind of emotion, whether I feel bad, whether I feel ignorant, I feel confused, or I feel super, doesn't matter, but we accept it as being a human, and we navigate through this conflicting emotion to go beyond them, and that embrace them, being able to become our true nature. Our true nature, what is it? Everyone's true nature, our common house, our common home, our collective consciousness, our purest mind, which is love and wisdom. And that I would like to come to the third point, which is my book, because my book talks very clearly about the definition, different level of happiness, whether it's from starting point, whether we can identify as a positive emotion or good thing in life, or the next step is we can go beyond. And the highest state is that we become love and wisdom, that embrace everything in one into our heart and share and illuminate the light of wisdom, the common, the collect, the thing. We go beyond our selfish concern, and we become all and everything. So that's how this discussion is so interesting, and it everyone have the real an excellent point to trigger our deep understanding and our curiosity, because that's the only way which is deep learning, which is our kindle our inner curiosity, that lead us to enlightenment, which is the highest human potential, and can the peak of our happiness. So this is what all the things that I will discuss in my book. So I hope it will bring some insight and look to have a lot of feedback from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. And I still see Philip raise his hand. Would you like to add anything to this?
Okay, sure. I do have two things I would like to share regarding the crisis around the world right now. Yes, indeed, water is just an element to the sixth element actually. So in Theravada Buddhism. The Buddhist teaching dated back to when Siddhartha Prince go become an enlightened one and teach India more than 2,500 years ago is Theravada, the first tradition. And then later on, there is a tradition, Mahayana tradition, and then Vajrayana tradition. So basically, these are terminology. What I want to say is that there is not four elements, water, earth, fire, and then wind, but actually there are six elements. And the fifth one is space, the space between you and me, the space in the universe. And then the last one is consciousness. So there are six elements that comprise and create life in the universe itself. So regarding this, every being or every phenomena would have life force within it, would have these elements within. So you have that element within me, I have that element within animals or every being, and that is including the earth. So the earth itself, in some tradition, in some belief, we call Mother Earth. The earth itself has lives, has thoughts, has reaction, just like our body. If we have pain in the leg, then we would do something with the leg. So we would treat the legs, or we would make reaction with the leg. So just like the earth, the Mother Earth has her way to adjust and balance out, which create a lot of things right now on earth. Even though she's very compassionate with all her children. So learning about this, I think we just know about that, but we cannot do too many things about some things that far beyond our control, because that is a collective group. But we can initiate within ourselves, and then we can be with the community or be with the group and start like realistic and practical action towards the earth, and then it will like it is actually happening rapidly around the world and contributing to this cause. So I think because of that, and I would be able to withdraw and then resign in the middle state, and not being sorrow or not being over optimistic about things, but still learning and doing things. So, and the second thing I want to mention it is how my perspective about how to go about life right now. It's just like you driving a car. Even spiritual practice or living, it just for me personally. So it not might not resonate with everyone, but I'm just going to share. Just like driving a car, meditation or contemplation or observation, it's just the fact that you are observing the streets through the windshield. You know the car, you know the surrounding, you know the environment. But you will only progress in life when you press, you step on the gas, the paddle to move the car ahead. And then on that journey, you might see good things, you might see bad things, but you only see without judging, without like naming, without talking, like Victoria just now mentioned. But you have to make reaction. You have to dodge. You have to turn right or turn left, or you have to go straight, or you have to go in reverse. So living in life or practicing on like spirituality is exactly the same. Meditation is there to have to help you with clarity and a more sense of knowing how things are moving around you and in the universe and in the collective humanity on earth right now. And then you start to make actions every day, actually every minute and every hours of the day, which contribute to the result. So like in Buddhism philosophy, we have a palm of seed, and which we can plant and grow it and become a tree, and then we have a fruitful outcome. but we choose to plant that seed like correctly or wrongly, because the law of cause and effect will like boomerang it back to you, like how to say, everything, every good deed you do to the world, to the universe, will come back right at you. So for example, every day you have a pound of seed, then you, with your clarity, with your sense of control through meditation, would choose to plant each seed correctly. And Eightfold Path, Casey mentioned, is a map, is a guideline for you how to plant your seed in three aspects: the thoughts, the words, and the actions. So in Buddhism, we have three area of being that we need to work on, that we need to purify, that we need to constrain, and then to evolve and develop. So speech, thoughts, and then the body, the action, the how you interacting with the world. So each of these area, when interacting with the world, the field, the source, whatever you call it, will leave a seed or footprint in the world, in the universe, and it will come back right at you. So the purpose of meditation is to have a sense of control, a sense of clarity, to choose to plant it effectively, correctly, and uh, and to help others, but also help yourself to evolve in the evolutions of the universe. I'm not saying mankind, because history of human right now, we have some new findings that challenge the old belief, but the evolution of beings in the universe and right now on Earth, with all the changes, with all the rise of the rise of the frequencies and everything that we are experiencing right now, the Earth and the humanity is experiencing right now, is actually pain. But pain, through pain, we have the opportunity to learn the lessons and to correct our three aspects of life. And if the world, and then there are more and more people understand these and make change, make adjustment to just their daily life, it would contribute back to the world, to the current stage. And on Earth right now, we have the opportunity to do it in a very quick way, according to some masters and teachers. And I experienced that myself as well. The karmic force is moving very fast. So you have the opportunity to make change. And I just want to share my perspective and clarify some mysterious things Bell have been folding on the teachings of the Buddhas. I just want to uncover it with the help of scientific proofs and experiments around the world. But the importance is understanding these, and through deep learning, practice it, apply it in your life, and really raise your vibration, and then hence raise the vibration of the earth on through your living your existence right now on earth. So that is finish up my saying for today. Yeah.
We have 6 minutes left. I just want to go very quickly, and then I'll pass down to our special guest Casey before we end this discussion today. And man, there's so much wisdom that I feel like we're gonna need another not even like 10 days, maybe 10 years to discuss on all of this. And thank you, Phyllis, for sharing. It's just powerful uh, teaching. And on the screen, what I am sharing with you right here is what I came out with from the retreat in the MA program. And I see the connection between the SPIRE model and the 12 principle, and how we can actually expand this system outward. And I'm glad that Philip mentioned earlier regarding the sixth element, not just the four, but there's actually six. And if we can see the SPIRE model at the five element, and then whole being at the hidden sixth element, is kind of very much aligned to what Philip shared earlier. And this whole being thing is also, to me, coincidentally, it's also like a W represent for wisdom. And to me, I feel like once we reach that wholeness, we can build the connection with wisdom. And the reason that you see so many spire form and there are so many interconnectedness between the inner world and the outer world, and maybe even expand beyond our understanding, it's like spiraling all the way up, all the way out, is very, very powerful. And of course, we're not going to have a lot of time to go over all of this, but this is something that I am working on. I think I will write a research paper on this idea and how everything is interconnected through the five element: spiritual well-being, physical well-being, intellectual well-being, relational well-being, and emotional well-being, plus the hidden element of whole being. And this system can explain the entire world, even the world beyond our understanding. And to me, this is sacred. It is so powerful. And I love how sad that he didn't come up with the idea, the knowledge, the information, it is always there. The teaching is always there. And this is the collective understanding. And I just love how everything come together so beautifully. And if my theory is right, happiness revolution, happiness study is very, very important to the understanding of mankind. And I'm just so glad that we are all here, and all of the voices that I have heard so far really, really um, make an make a very strong statement on my belief and on the project I am working on. But on that note, I would like to invite our special guest Casey to say a few things in his mind before we end today's discussion. And of course, we will continue this discussion in the future in next week section. Yes, Casey.
Well, thank you, Ben. So did you create this graphic?
Yes.
I'm in love with it. I am just entranced with it because I've had a lot of visions of sacred geometry and that sort of thing. And this is just beautiful. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. It's beautiful. So thank you for that share. And thank you everybody for some great participation. Feliz, do you prefer to go by Feliz or Lan?
Yes, I prefer to go by Feliz. Yeah, it's
Feliz,
easier.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, but thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Chilin. Thank you, Feliz. You guys were great today. I know I could spend more time with all of you. It's one thing I love about this, and Ben, something that you said made me think. I really feel like I'm not a religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in deep philosophical thinking and applied philosophy. And it's to me, I'll say it out loud. This is the new religion that will help tap into human potential and help us right the ship, so to speak, to do the course correction we need to, so that we can all collectively get along better and provide more, be part of the solution instead of part of the problem, and end up on the right side of history, as I like to say. So thank you, Ben. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you like today's discussion and you feel like we didn't have enough time, feel free to share your thought on, I guess, the international group. That will help attract more participants, and that's give us a good enough reason to continue this, because I started this as a journey, and I do want to follow closely with the certificate program. And we kind of drip a little bit far away, but everything is interconnected, and this discussion is so important. And I feel like we have such a great opportunity to gather a great thinker of the students of happiness studies, and I'm open to have another discussion before we move forward to the relational well-being, and in a way we kind of practice in it. And just want to share with you that I am open to have another discussion, and I'll be more than happy to invite Casey and Phyllis, and I guess everybody else as a special guest for the next week discussion. But let me know, and thank you so much for such a rich and wonderful discussion. And I guess like usual, we will go out with a song, and there's no better song to share than the song "The Path of Balance," the middle path that has been mentioned many times in today's discussion. And once again, thank you everyone for joining us, for being here, and have a wonderful weekend.
In a quiet place near Varanassi's light, a wise teacher spoke deep into the night. He told the monks of balance and the way to find true peace every single day. Seek the middle, not too high, not too low. Find your center, let your spirit glow. In the stillness, feel the gentle breeze. Close your eyes, let your worries ease. Life's a journey, not a rushing race. Feel the heartbeat in every space. Seek the middle, not too fast, not too slow. Find your center, let your spirit glow. In the dawn's light, everything's new. In the twilight, dreams come through. Listen closely to the silent cue. The middle path is calling you. Seek the middle, not too high, not too low. Find your center, let your spirit glow. In the dawn's light, everything's new. In the twilight, dreams come through. Listen closely to the silent cue. The middle path is calling you. In the dawn's light, everything's new. In the twilight, dreams come through. Listen closely to the silent cue.